least, let me think, at least 6 or 7 years. I would say 7 years in healthcare related background, I guess.
Gotcha. No problem at
Hmm.
all. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. So, those that want to know who we're talking to, right? Now I know a little more about Joe now. So I'm Mitch's, I'm a U.S. Air Force law enforcement police veteran. Served my country for a while, right? Just how you did, right? And then when I got out, I got into city planning. I want to be a city planner. So I got my BA in my master's in economics and did that for a number of years. Went to work one day. I said, "Hey, you guys are laid off. Half you guys are gone." Half that was gone. So time to reinvent yourself, which I did, of course, right? So that's what got me to hospital work and also to here as well. So I've been coaching for a long time now. I coach Secret Service, FBI, also coach CBP, BP, and U.S. Marshals. I think the FBI, I would say, is probably the second toughest interview process to get through.
Hmm.
Reason why is because a lot of people who are qualified don't know how to advertise that they're qualified during the interview, right? You get a
Right.
lot of guys who have the skills, the experience, the background, but they don't know how to say it. They have to say it to these guys because people always think, well, they have my resume. Well, yeah, sure they do. But if you don't advertise yourself, who gives a damn, right? No one's going to care,
Right.
right?
Right.
So go through this process, So like for you and I know we have time because you said you don't interview till like in a month or two from now. Is that right? Is that what you told me?
I actually don't. I don't know when the interview is, but this Friday or this upcoming Saturday is the written exam. I've been kind of studying for that, and then I think following in a couple weeks is the PFT, and then I think maybe within the next month or so, I'm assuming we're having the interview. That's why I assume. So I'm not exactly sure on the date of the interview yet.
Oh, no problem at all, Joe.
Mhm.
I'm just so glad you got ahead of the ball. Like a lot
Yeah.
of guys wait till a week or two and said, you got to take it more serious than that, So you're taking it very serious. I love that,
Right.
man. So that's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
let's go through the program here. First of all, I haven't lost an FBI client in a long time, maybe a year ago at the most, I figure. And
Hmm.
the reason why FBI and my Secret Service guys, I have such a high pass rate because it's a very intense type program. No, FBI, the interviews are they're mostly behavioral with a little bit of situational, right? So FBI is
Hmm.
going more for how you think, how you are, how you behave. Whereas if you look at Secret Service Uniform Division, it's more situational. What's going to happen when you do this, that stuff, right? Because those guys are
Hmm.
uniform out there in the open, right? You guys are
Right.
not. You're special agents, right? So it's more behavioral. And so what I do is we go through. So we go through like today. We're gonna do like a 3-question interview today. See where you are, right? See where you stand, right? But it's not a really
Okay.
big deal today because I was trying to find out where you are. But the work between you and I happens also in between, like between the first interview and the second interview. There's work that happens underneath. So what I mean by that is that you and I are going to email back and forth. So you're probably thinking, well, what are you going to email back and forth with? Well, today I'll ask you 3 questions, but also today I'll send you 4 questions. All right.
Okay.
And then within 48 hours, I need you to respond to me, answer those questions I sent to you, right, through email, send them back to me, right?
Okay.
Hasn't got to be perfect at all. I'm not looking for perfection at all, right? I'm looking for
Okay.
answers, right? And sometimes, too, I might ask you to say, for question 2, Joe, give me 2 possible answers. For question 4, give me 2 possible answers, right? And then you
Okay.
send it back to me in 48 hours, right? I hold it for 24 hours. I send it back to you again with my edits, whatever, blah, 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 right? Then we
Hmm.
have another interview, right? And so the second interview, we might add some of my stuff. We might not, because in the second interview, I'll listen for tonality, right? Your delivery, right? How you say it, right? How you advertise yourself. I teach to perfection. That's what I really do. I teach to perfection, and then I might ask you to say it and answer it 3, 4, 5 times to it sounds perfect to me because I know the people who you're talking to are going to want that as well. No, they may say, "Oh, no pressure, it's okay." That's crap. There's a lot of pressure, right? There's
Right.
like 10 other Joes right behind you with education just like you, who are qualified just like you, and all we need to do is one mess up and it's over. So I got to make
Mhm.
sure my guys are taught to perfection, and that's what I teach. And I really mean that. I really want you to do really, really good. When I coach, I'll say a thing where I say, I'm going to torture you now. Torture means repeat the answer again. When I say repeat it again, repeat it again. I might be 3 or 4 times, right? But some hate it. But hey, they get the badge, and they get to go on for the interview part. They're happy we did it, you know. So just so you know, okay, my friend, that sounds good so far.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you sound like you're pumped up for this too, so it's gonna be a good thing with you, I think. You know.
Oh yeah, because I was doing a lot of research on the different steps of the interviews.
Yeah.
And then just on YouTube, and everyone's very vague. Of course, they're not going to tell you what exactly is on these exams.
Right.
But I came across your YouTube and I watched a bunch of your videos. I'm like, okay, this guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He was actually willing to talk about and teach people, to help them out. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I too don't have the exact questions, right? But I know though that my questions come so close. I've been told sometimes there's a couple were spot on, right? But we weren't down to details, of course, but spot on, But I think you practice my 8-9 questions so much that it doesn't matter what they throw at you. You can always navigate to the answer. That makes sense,
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's really not going to be such a heavy thing for us at all. My last guy we taught, was it a month ago, I think now, but yeah, he said too, he didn't tell me any questions, of course, but he said too, though, is that the questions that I ask are definitely very close to the real deal. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so no problem at all. Okay, Joe, so at this point here, I want to give you the real rundown, just 3 questions, okay? And again, I'm not looking for perfection at all, my friend. And what we do here for FBI, because FBI, you're going to have it in person. So most of my guys are Zooming. CP does Zoom, BP does Zoom, Marshall does Zoom also. You guys do in person, So we're going right to the questions and answers instead of going through all the formality, So when I go blank, I'll come back live again, and we'll go right into the interview questions. Okay, Joe? That sound okay to you, buddy?
Yeah.
And again, no need for perfection. Just give me I want to hear how you sound. Okay, bud? That sound fair?
Okay. All right. Yeah, that sounds fair.
All right, Joe. Here we go. Let's see here. Hello, sir. I want to tell you thank you for being here at the FBI interview. For the record, sir, what's your full name?
Joseph Lawrence Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. We appreciate that. Sir, the first question I want to ask you is probably pretty obvious to you, but we want to know, why do you want to become or be part of the FBI, sir?
So my whole life has been geared towards some sort of public service, mainly the government or different nonprofits. And so I got my undergraduate degree in political science from the University of Oklahoma. And there I was entering a different nonprofits such as Habitat for Humanity. And I thought, maybe even switching over to law school post-grad would be an idea or an option for me. However, I decided to go join the Peace Corps as a volunteer doing community health related work in Tanzania, in rural villages and things like that. And there that kind of geared me, or maybe switched me over to more health related endeavors, because in Tanzania I was doing maternal child health, child nutrition, and I became passionate about public health. And then shortly thereafter, after my service, I got my graduate degree in my master's in public health from Emory University. So that's what kind of brought me down here to Atlanta. And I've been in Atlanta for about 5 years. And now I am working for the Cobb County Health Department in chronic disease prevention. And I connect uninsured people to primary health care services that the department offers. However, now I'm looking for, I guess, more of a challenge, a more high stakes form of service, something where I feel like my expertise and experience can actually be maximized in a way I feel like is not being so maximized at this point in my life. And I think being an FBI special agent is something that's I want to be a part of. And it's a very prestigious career. And I'm going to be around other people who are very ambitious. And I kind of want to be in an environment such as this.
Thank you very much, sir. You mentioned some work. You say overseas, sir. Is that right?
Correct.
And how many years were you there?
3 years, from 2017 to 2020.
And sir, when you were there, what were you doing specifically? Give us 3 things you're doing specifically to your job over there.
I had a health education class, so I'll teach secondary students how to wash hands, how to, I guess, just be clean, like hygienic related classes that I had after school. The second thing I did was I would volunteer at our local health clinic, and where I would teach nursing mothers how to create or how to make healthier forms of food that they're already eating, just adding more nutritious vegetables and other things that in their current food. And then the third thing I would do, I would just teach English as well. I was teaching English part time to primary and secondary school students.
Thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate that. Now, Mr. Davis, for the second question is this: can you tell us about a time where you made a mistake, what happened, and what you did to fix it, and what did you learn?
I would say the biggest mistake I made was probably when I first got to my village in Tanzania. My neighbor, who's also kind of the mayor of the village, and who I became close with, we decided to start a chicken coop project where we could be able to create income for people who are living with HIV, so they could be able to get pay for bus fare to the neighboring village where they would be able to receive that medication. And in order to build a chicken coop, of course, you need to order supplies. And so we created an itemized list, a big list of supplies that were needed. Myself being new there, I wasn't sure how much things are supposed to cost. I'm completely new and foreign. I'm really relying on this person. And then I showed the list to another one of my good friends who happened to speak really good English. And she went through the list with me and she said, this person is being dishonest with me, and that a lot of these items are overpriced. And so after that, I actually became quite upset, and I didn't really address the situation with my friend. And I kind of pulled back away from him. And I think he was hurt by that. And I think that actually hindered me in some ways in other projects I could have done that I wasn't able to do because our relationship was severed. Looking back now, I would change my approach. I would just approach him respectfully and say, hey, I think there might be some discrepancy with how much these items are compared to how much we should pay for these items. So I guess being more direct in my communication, but also not accusing anyone of any wrongdoing, even though maybe I had suspected of some wrongdoing.
So it was never reconciled, sir, you're saying?
It was reconciled probably about a year later. We had a short conversation about it, and it was kind of water under the bridge. However, that's a whole year where kind of that relationship, that progress we were making kind of stopped. So yes. Mm-hmm.
Understood, sir. Thank you. One more question for you, sir, is this. Tell me about a time where your integrity was tested under pressure, and what actions did you take and why?
So also in Tanzania, one of my other counterparts, who was a woman who was also pregnant, about 7 months pregnant, we went to a training, and Peace Corps holds these quarterly trainings where you can get trained in many different things, health related or agricultural related. And at this training, it was going really well. And my counterpart I saw she was bonding with one of our instructors, who was a Tanzanian, who also worked for the Peace Corps. And this instructor is beloved across the Peace Corps Tanzania service organization. And then at the end of the service, we get back to our village, and I said, hey, let's just call him Bob. Bob was great. It seems like you and Bob hit it off. I should invite him to our village to have a demonstration that he was sharing during the training. And she said, I'm not comfortable with that. And I said, why? And she said that Bob was making sexual advances towards her and was really sexually harassing her during this training. And I had no idea. And she said that if you were to tell anybody, I would stop being friends with you. I wouldn't do any work with you. And so at that point, it was a tough situation for me because I really cared about our relationship. However, anyone who is associated with the Peace Corps, works for the Peace Corps, is really should be acting within, upholding the standards that the Peace Corps has. And that's also a reflection of myself. And so I did go ahead, I didn't tell her, but I did go ahead and report this individual to the administrative office at the Peace Corps. And I was informed that this person has actually had similar incidents in the past surrounding this. So that's something that was kind of a tough decision for me, but at the same time, not really, because I knew I had to do the right thing.
Understood. Mr. Davis, did she ever find out you were the one who spoke about this?
She never did. She never did. I never told her. And we were able to kind of do the similar demonstration without him there. So we were able to move forward and still work together.
Did the man cease and desist from the behavior in the future anymore? And did he stop doing that?
I have no idea, but I do know that he wasn't really reprimanded. From my understanding, he was still working for the Peace Corps up until I think a few years ago, actually, from my understanding. So I'm not sure what really came of that situation.
Understood, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Davis, at this point here, we're not done asking you questions for the interview. Do you have any questions for us, sir?
None at the moment, no. No, thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Davis. So look in your portal the next 4 to 5 days for our response, okay, sir?
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. You have a good day, Mr. Davis.
All right, thanks. You too.
All right. Boom. Okay, there we go. You were ready. People always say, I did so bad. You probably say something. I did so bad.
Yeah, I did pretty bad because, I have to kind of go back and like, okay, how did that situation actually go? Then sometimes I do have I don't know if it's a stutter, but sometimes I can, some words get jumbled up here and now, every now and again. So, yeah.
Well, but honestly, think about it, right? I met you like 15 minutes ago, right? I'm ready to hammer you heavy questions. That's really not fair to you at all, but I do that on purpose. I want to see how good you are with spontaneity, because I'm asking you to dig back a little bit and go here, go there. And it's not easy, but the reason why I really do it, I want to look at your history, stuff we can work with for sure, right? So let's go through these questions first, okay? Just for today, And so I always think of the first question, right? Why do you want to be FBI? To me, I really call it, are you married, Joe?
Not yet. No, I'm not married.
Okay.
I'm single.
Okay, no problem. When you do get married, I call this my married question, my marriage question, right? Because when they say, why do you want to be FBI, they're really asking you, man, what can you do for us, right? What are you bringing to the table? People think it's time to advertise themselves. It really isn't. It's time to say, hey, this is what I can do for you, right? It's like when you meet a person who you want to be with, right? It's not just how good they look. That's great. The FBI looks very beautiful, right? But they want to know, what can you do for us, right? So you brought in your Peace Corps. It's very important because it shows you have. When I hear Peace Corps, I'm always thinking overseas, right? But I know some guys work here too. But so that tells you you have some experience in a foreign environment. Very important, right? And then I hear you talk about health care, right? Which is very important as well. Because remember, FBI is very eclectic. They're not just they're very well-rounded type agency, right? Then you have the education we want, the master's and the BA for a course, And then you have, when I ask you about, so when we say like, when we were in Tanzania, right? Just so you know in the future, we're gonna put years on those. We're gonna say, well, I was there for 3 years, there for 10 years, whatever you're there for, because FBI likes numbers. To let numbers to them qualify the people for experience, right? Because like I said, I've been in Tanzania for a month in Peace Corps. You say for 3 years, but if I don't annotate how long I was there for, me, you're the same. But we're not the same. 3 years and a month, 2 different worlds, right? So there's no way we're the same, right? They love those kind of years. Now, we're going to definitely work on that first one because we got a lot of juice there we can definitely work with, okay? But it's no big deal for now today. Now, I'm looking at too, you said you said to here that you said, so then what I want to do, okay, now I know you're in Tanzania. I know you're doing stuff there, right? But I don't know what stuff you're doing there. That's why when I ask you, well, what top 3 things were you doing? Because I wanted you to ferret out your skill sets, right? Because what I'm doing, I'm thinking, okay, got this guy from Mr. Davis. He's been overseas in Tanzania in the Peace Corps, right? But I'm hungry, man, because tell me what you did. I want to eat. What happened? What'd you do, right? That's why I pulled it out of you, because I'm taking your skill set, right? Peace Corps, put it into FBI. That makes sense to you, Joe?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Don't worry. I talk fast sometimes, but just tell me to slow down if I go too fast. Okay.
Oh no, you're fine.
That's what I do. So because I like what I do, man. So anyway, so we're pulling out your stuff here and put it to FBI. So now I know this guy's got 3 years. Sorry, he's got teaching hygiene. Hugely important, especially is Tanzania considered a third world? I don't know, Joe. Is it?
It is. It's one of the poorest countries in the world. Yes.
Okay. So we both know hygiene knocks out people in third worlds all the time. They don't. You show them hygiene, basic hygiene, right? We both know that, right? And number 2, you said to me, you're doing volunteer. What were you doing? He said hygiene. What else were you doing, Joe? Here.
like it was like a health club where I would teach people or teach students, different aspects of health that you need to take into account.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, numbers again. Okay, you teach students. How many did you teach?
At least 150.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about, right? Now I got
Right.
this visual. I see
Right.
Joe talking to 150 people. Joe's got this master's degree. He's over there in Tanzania, in a very third world type country, right? Teaching himself at risk, but also educating people as well. You see the profile I'm building you already. It's his awesome profile, right?
Yeah.
And you're not even bragging about it. It's just what you did.
Right.
It looks cool, right?
That's
and
true.
so this one says, so we're doing the answers. When I show you the questions later on, you'll say, just fill it out. You'll say, right, you fill stuff out. Well, that's when we start building up your resume, right? We're still building you up right there. It's awesome, man. You'll see. We'll work the magic later. But then you said too here, you also did I can't say volunteer. Why am I saying volunteer for it? You're teaching hygiene. You did the education. You did one more thing too. What else did you do?
I was also teaching English. I taught English as well.
Very important. My gosh. Okay. When we're seeing the questions today, just remember stuff down. Just write it all down on your response, okay, buddy? No problem at all.
Okay.
Now, number 2 was, of course, our question regarding you and the mistake you did, right? And so,
right.
Tell me. So, the mistake was the village mayor was not being honest. Is that right? You tell me. Is that right?
Yeah. It was that. Well, my mistake was not addressing the situation head on. That was my mistake. I feel like doing so would have changed some things going forward in our relationship.
Okay, so we're not even going to dissect number 2 yet because there's a lot of dynamics there. What I need for number 2, I'll send you today. Just answer it in your way, and don't worry about making it too long. Whatever, I don't care about that.
Okay.
Give me as much details as you can, okay? Because we're going to add to it, take away, whatever. That's going to be a good ethical one too, I believe, and we'll go into that later on in a minute.
Okay.
Here, right? Now, number 3 is the one where I'm asking you about, Joe, is the integrity question, right? This one is relatable. Now, you might not think it is, but it is. Because every big agency, every business has their own mission statement, right? Their own mission. Right. Peace Corps, I don't know what their mission is, but I'm assuming integrity must be part of it, correct?
Correct.
So you, my friend, you put your friendship at jeopardy, at risk, can we say, because you've fallen down the line of the mission of a Peace Corps, which is integrity. I'm sure it's there somewhere for sure, right?
Yes.
Right? And so here you are showing, look, FBI is a top dog. Everybody knows that, right? But I'm sure Peace Corps is somewhere. It's a good agency, of course, right? But you're saying to me there's this. And I'm not putting down Peace Corps at all, but I'm saying there's this. If this guy is so integrity-filled at the Peace Corps level, imagine him at the FBI level. You know what I'm saying? Right. And if you talk about the mission too, right? When you raise your right hand, take your oath before you get your badge, you take an oath to the Constitution, not to a girl, not to a friend, not to a buddy, right? Therefore, put the Constitution, the mission, above your friendship. That makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
And then look at the bigger picture, right? You did your part. You spoke to whoever you got to speak to squash this nonsense behavior from this guy, which really is dangerous behavior because those guys tend to escalate anyway, right? But try to squash that where you were at, to stop, because not only were you speaking up for your friend, you're speaking up also for future victims as well. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's what they hear and see. When you talk this way at an interview, they're seeing so much more beyond than what you're saying, because you're talking about a preventative measure for future females around this guy. And number 2, you're mission focused, man. You're mission driven, right? And number 3, you passed the integrity test, right? She said, don't do that. But you said, no, I have in your brain. You say, no, I got to follow through with integrity, right? That's huge, Joe. You know what I'm saying? Especially nowadays with you guys, the Secret Service, FBI, you guys being hammered for integrity nowadays, right? And you are saying these guys, I'm up for the role. That makes sense?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Now, we always want to ask 2 questions at the end of an interview. Always 2, okay?
Okay.
My FBI guys, is the first question I'm always asking, I want you guys to ask as always, what does success look like for me at the end of my first year, right?
Mhm.
And number two is always going to be, what is it about the FBI that makes you want to come to work every day, sir? It's a good question, right?
Mhm.
And those two questions, they're not great questions. They're not great questions because a great question means it's done, no back talk, we're done. But a good question means that it's going to incite a conversation. And
Right.
that's what I want with these guys and you, right? I
Right.
want to have a conversation, right? Now,
Mhm.
I'm not smarter than these guys. Maybe you are, but I'm not. But the reason for the question is because I want them to remember Joe Davis. So how's that happen? Through the conversation piece at the end, right? Well, Joe, why do I come to work every day? I believe in my country and whatever he says, right? That's
Mhm.
all great, but they're talking to you.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And what we say too, what's the success of like the first year? You're asking a man in the field, maybe 8, 9 years in the field. Now you're asking him what's success look like. We men like to give advice. We all know that. I'm the same way too. Well, Joe, let me tell
Mhm.
you, hey, how is he there? So, here we go, right? This
Right.
conversation, right. And so it's really awesome, And sometimes other guys will want to jump in there as well because let me tell you, this for a number of years now. Now, the Border Patrol and CBP interviewers, they're rude, they're cold, they're just mean as hell. They're just mean people. When I interview for those guys, same way as they do, right?
Mhm.
FBI, very confident, casual, educated, don't need to be the nonsense guys, right? So they will
Mhm.
have a conversation with you. Like I can almost guarantee that, right? They'll talk to you about stuff, blah blah, just really cool environment. And so what I want, because there's gonna be like 10 Joe Davises that day interviewing, right? Some
Right.
are qualified just like you, some just suck, but some will be qualified for sure. So if I got 4 Joe Davises all the same, but our Joe Davis have those conversations and blah blah blah, go back and forth, he looks better because he's having that conversation. Because Joe, it's a stat. 30% of people do not ask questions at the end of an interview. That 30% never gets a call back because it's interpreted like, oh, they don't care, no interest, whatever it is, it goes against them. That makes sense to you, my friend?
Mhm. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So that's the deal there. So that's the gist of everything today, right? Because what we're gonna do now, this isn't the work. Today, first interview is just fun, ha ha he he. We start the real work after this because then they're going to go into full hours. And what we're going to do, we're going to dissect everything you say to me. We're going to rebuild it. We're going to make it perfect. I teach to perfection. I say it all the time because of all anybody has that, I'm going to ask you sometimes, repeat that again. Wait, hang on. What do you think of this? I'll get your opinion too, because it's back and forth, right? Not
Mhm.
just all me, right? And we're
Right.
going to get your stuff strong, right? And yes, it's true, Joe. They do have your resume right there from Joe Davis, blah, 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 blah. But we don't give a damn about that. We have to advertise ourselves to them, and
Right.
let them know who we are, right? And you got a lot of juice here, already. We need to go through. I write notes all the time, man. So we got a lot of juice here, right? That we're going to go through now. So here's what I want to do, my friend.
Okay.
First of all, I want to set up our next meeting, first of all. So I think we could probably go like 4 days, 5 days, right? Because we got time on our side right now, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. And Joe, you working every day?
I am. I'm
And
full
I'm
time.
probably not working every day. I mean, your hours every day, Joe. You work do the daytime or nighttime? When do you work? I don't know.
Yeah, it's usually at like 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Uh-huh.
I said work every
Mhm.
day.
Mhm.
Of course, you got to eat, man. Of course, you're working every
You
day.
gotta eat. You gotta
Yeah.
eat.
Hang on a second. Put an FBI here real quick here too to make it known. Okay, now we can even go if you want to. I don't want to go that far out though, man. I was thinking maybe like, oh, Joe, what time frame you in right now? I got like 10:30. What time you got there?
1:30. So it's
Oh, you're
the
East
afternoon. Yeah, I'm on
Coast.
East Coast. I'm on East Coast. Hmm.
Could you do could you do 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock your time on Thursday the 9th?
8 o'clock Thursday night. Yeah, yeah, I can do that.
Perfect. Okay. Perfect. Okay, that's good. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, Joe, I'll send you the instructions as well. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna send you um, 5 questions today already. Okay,
Okay.
and and again, I'm not looking for perfection right now. Just answer the questions, okay, my friend. And then
Okay.
a couple of them will ask you for 2 possible answers to the questions because your background's pretty it's pretty good. So with you, I want to get a couple of things out of you. Remember too, FBI, they're behavioral, they're not really situational. So they're really going to find out really what's inside of you. That's what's really trying to find out how you answer questions, you know.
Right.
And you notice too, though, Joe, you'll see later on too as time goes on. Yes, I'm going to ask you one question, but then I do what I call peppering, right? I ask another question on top of that question because they do that sometimes too, you know. But FBI, they don't do it to play games, you know. They really do it to find out more about you, right? Like I asked you, I said, Joe, how many people did you teach? Oh, Mitch, I taught 150 people. Well, if I didn't ask, you never would have said it to me, right? So that's why they do stuff like that. That makes sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Excellent. And Joe, do you have paper with you, pencil with you? Paper?
I do. Yes.
Okay. So you bought the Elite, of course. So here's my number for you. It's 858.
Okay.
933.
Okay.
7054.
All right.
Now, of course, text anytime, but if you want to have a phone call, though, so text me, hey, Mitch, you got 10 minutes for a phone call, whatever, just let me know. But, yeah, just give me a forewarning. But that's available to you at all times, my friend. If anybody buys Elite or higher, it means to me that they're serious. So I've always given my number just to make sense to me. You know, you guys are serious about passing, and I totally understand that for sure, buddy. So give me by 3 o'clock your time for this video right here. It's now your video. And also the question I'm going to see you 5 questions today as well, okay? And then it'll send an email too. If you can answer to me by Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, the very latest, you know, send back to me and you'll see. We'll go back and forth too. That's the thing.
Yeah, definitely. Great.
How you doing so far, Joe?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty confident. So I appreciate it.